Good morning, good morning, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning and welcome, welcome, welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you on today to lead you in a very special way in our grief devotion. This is the daily grief devotional that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural and normal response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you express it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we address it and we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. I thank you for joining us on today. Primarily, this platforms deals with grief and mourning in the form of death, but we've come to know and understand that grief goes far beyond death, right? That it deals with any loss, change, and transition. So we welcome any and everybody that's been dealing with loss, change, and transition just to be a part of our daily devotion. This is year two. This is day 22 of 2024, but it's actually our second year of doing this daily grief devotional. Can you believe that? This is year two. We did it every day last year, except for one. So 364 days. And then this year, every single day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be coming to you with a grief devotion to help you to navigate through the loss, change, and transition that you've been experiencing in your life. My name is Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr., and I'm happy to be not only the senior pastor of the City of Hope Community Church, the virtual pastor of Hope Nation, but I'm happy also to serve as your certified grief coach to help you to navigate through the loss, change, and transition that you have experienced in your life. So, thank you for joining us today. And without delay, let's get it started. Today, we're going to talk about I can do one small thing. I can do one small thing. Some days the best I can do is survive. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I was doing this exercise while I was writing down 2023 and three things that I did in 2023, right? And one of them was I survived. Like I don't know if they were looking for a big accomplishment or something grandiose that I was able to do or accomplish or whatever the case may be. And one of my three things was I simply survived. Because sometimes, especially when you're dealing with grief, one of the best things you can do, one of the smallest things, and it's really a big thing, right? Some days, the best you can do is survive. I, I survive, right? With everything that I'm dealing with and going through, the pain, the loss, the change, the transition, the emotions that I'm feeling, the anxiety, the depression, everything that has come over me. When you're going through this, sometimes you just got to pause for the cause. You got to take some deep breaths and just survive. Sometimes it's just enough to survive. Can I get a witness out there somewhere? Some days the best I can do is survive. Sometimes my loss feels so overwhelming and my pain is so great that all I can do is seek comfort and take care of myself the best I can. The loss can be so overwhelming, the pain can be so great, y'all, that sometimes all you can do is just seek comfort. All I'm trying to do is, what did it say? All I'm trying to do is seek comfort and take care of myself the best I can. And I want to tell you that's enough. That's enough. Don't put pressure on you to try to run and get things back to normal. I say this all the time. Nothing is normal, right? We're trying to rush back to a normal that's no longer normal. Nothing is normal. And so to try to get back into a routine or to think that you're just going to go back to the way things used to be or the way things were, no, nothing is normal, right? And sometimes it can be so overwhelming, right? That when you think about it, it's not until you get back into the groove and the rhythm of your life does the pain starts to settle in. When somebody dies that week, you ripping and running, you making obituaries, you going to get outfits, you entertaining people at the house. Well, you getting ready for the service. You had a service, and you go to the repast and come home, and there's flyers everywhere, and people still here from out of town. Then they leave, and then once you settle back in the routine of your life, oh, that's when your chest start to cave in, because this is the first Monday, or this is the first Friday, and you go through all of these. Oh, this is the a week of the anniversary. Oh, this is the second week, and you don't even see that day to say, oh, this is the 1 month, and you're trying to get back into the routine of work and being a mother or a father or a wife or a husband or a son or a daughter, and you still got to cook meals, or you trying to, but it's hard to, and you try to work, but you're trying to balance it, and it's a constant reminder of the loss, the change, the transition you're dealing with. And you can be so overwhelmed because you're dealing with grief, right? You can be so overwhelmed because you're trying to get back to some normalcy. You can be so overwhelmed, right? And it's not even in the immediate. I'm talking about even moving forward. It could 6 months ago, and you're so overwhelmed. First holidays without them, and you're so overwhelmed. The 1 year anniversary, it could be the 4 year anniversary, and it's a landmark. Like they would have been 18, or they would have been 21, or we would have been married 10 years this year. And it can be so overwhelming that sometimes the best thing you can do is what? Survive. Sometimes the best thing you do is so overwhelmed. My pain is so great. All I can do is seek comfort and take care of myself the best I can. Take care of yourself the best you can. This is a season. So when people talk about self care, this is a season of self care. This is a season of self care where you can take care of yourself the best you can. And when I say self care, watch this. I'm not talking about the aesthetic type. I'm not talking about hair done, nails done, everything did, because you're gonna look good, and you may feel superficially good. I'm talking about the self care of the soul. This is a season of self care where you give yourself grace and mercy and patience. You give yourself the opportunity to get in a safe place and safe space to where you can cry out, right? To where you can express yourself and how you feel and what you feel. Get yourself in a safe place and safe space where you can start to take care of yourself. You can take care of yourself, what you're feeling and what you're dealing with and what you're going through and what you're experiencing. Get into a place, right, where you can do some real self-care, some true self-care, right? This is a season for you to take care of yourself. The pain can be so overwhelming, right? The loss, the change, the transition, it can be so great. Seek comfort, take care of yourself the best way you can. Here it is. But other days, maybe like today, I have a little more traction on the path of my grief. And that's what you're going to find. No 2 days are the same. Some days are so overwhelming and so pain you can't breathe. The best you can do is survive, right? But then there'll be some days, you'll have a second wind. Some days you have a little traction on your grief. Some days you may feel, you may feel a little bit better, right? I have a little more energy, a little more momentum. That's the thing about grief. No 2 days are the same. You can go from 0 to 100. You can go from a good day to a bad day. You can go from a bad day to a better day the next day, because grief is not linear. It's all over the place, right? And that's what you got to understand. Some days you'll just survive. Some days you'll have a little bit more traction, right? You'll have a little bit more energy. You have a little bit more momentum. And on those days, I can set my intention to do one small thing to actively mourn and integrate my loss just a tiny bit more. I want y'all to get this. Some days, we always say mourning must have motion, mourning must have action. Grief is what you feel, mourning is what you reveal. You got to go from grieving to mourning, right? And so, mourning, that's where the miracle happens, when you express, right? We don't suppress, we express. We don't conceal, we reveal. We don't refuse to face it, we embrace it. We don't lock it up, we let it out. So you got to mourn. You got to mourn. But some days, the best you can do is just survive, right? Some days, the best that I can do is get through this day and survive. But on those other days, right? On the other days, Got a little more traction in your grief. Got a little more energy, a little more momentum. Set your intention to do one small thing. One small thing to actively mourn and integrate your loss just a tiny little bit more, right? Those are the days you can make some traction. Those are the days you can make some headways. Those are the days that you can move forward. Those are the days where you can deal with it in a way that's going to be helpful, right? Today, I will do one small thing. What's one small thing you can do, right? One small thing you can do. Look at the reflection. I naturally allow, embrace, and integrate. I naturally allow, embrace, and integrate. I naturally allow, embrace, and integrate. This has to be your mindset as you navigate through this season of grief, as you navigate through this season of mourning. You got to understand it's an ebb and flow, right? It's a back and forth. No 2 days are the same. And on the days where you can just barely survive, give yourself grace. Give yourself, be patient with yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to feel what you need to feel. Sit in that moment, and it's okay. I survived. What did you do today? I survived. It was so overwhelming. The pain was so unbearable. The best I could do was just survive. So that's what I did. And on the other days where you got a little traction, you got a little pep in your step, you got a little, just do one small thing to kind of help you to navigate on your grief journey. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 22. This was for me and for you. I can do one small thing. Come on. Questions, comments, if you got them, I'll take them real quick. If you got them, questions, comments, if you have any of them, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear them. Just trying to survive. I know that's right. Y'all keep Sister Katina in your prayers. Keep Sister Katina in your prayers. She just lost her uncle, and her grandmother is in the hospital. Her uncle's mother, who has to bury 4 children. This is her 4th child that she'll have to bear. And so she's in the hospital, definitely with a broken heart, dealing with that. And Katina, the granddaughter, who's the quarterback and everything. Y'all keep her in your prayers as she navigates through this season. You hit the nail on the head. Overwhelming. Yes, it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, right? We're going to make it through. Give yourself grace and space to navigate through it all. And we're going to make it. Any questions, comments? One small thing. Grief is not linear, y'all. It's always different. And again, this is primarily we talk about the death of people, but this is any loss, change, and transition that you deal with, right? That this is what you're going to feel. And so, and some days those can be overwhelming. Friendships, breakups, job losses, just the painful reality of certain things. It can be overwhelming, right? Betrayal, all of this stuff. And so, yeah, small steps lead to great distances. Give yourself the grace and the space to deal with it, to navigate through it. Oh, I appreciate it. Yep, 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 yep. I love it. Well, look, y'all, hope y'all have a happy Monday. We are here every single day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. So I encourage you to continue to join us as we navigate through this season of grief. It's Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Grieve well, be well, feel, reveal, heal. So God can do what he desires to do in your life in the midst of your grief and mourning. We love you with the love of the Lord. We out. Let's go.